Hi everyone, welcome back for another tutorial. In this tutorial I want to show you how I restore this photo. So I'm here in Adobe Bridge, so I'm going to double click and I'm going to open Camera Raw. Basically this photo was a photo of a photo. So a couple of years ago I did some work for a museum back in Portugal and they wanted me to scan. I didn't have the scanner with me, so I used my lens, and actually it was my 50mm lens, and photographed the photo. So the first thing I want to do is I want just to go to white balance. I'm just going to auto and just bring down the highlights and open up the shadows a touch and add a bit of contrast. So this is a good start for me, and obviously we need to go to lens correction even though there's nothing on this lens, and I'm going to open the image. So right here in Photoshop, so the first thing I want to do is I want to retain the ratio of the photo. So for that I need to crop everything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going right here on the crop tool. I've got crop tool and perspective crop tool. So I'll select perspective crop tool, and right here on the corner I'm going to click once, come down here and click again, and go to the other corner and to the other corner. And even though I can't see exactly where the corner is right here on this top and on the bottom, so I can just readjust according to the image. So I'll just go something like so, like this, and I'm going to grab the other handle and it should be something like that. So I'll accept the changes, and there we go. So it's looking good. Now we have the problem of these areas all around, but we get it fixed in a second. So the first thing I want to do is I want to come here, adjustment layers, and I'm going to levels, and I want to try to bring any color that it's hidden within the image. So I'm going to change from RGB, I'm going to red, and I'm going to just add something like so. I've done a tutorial about this. So basically I'm just trying to bring reds, greens and blues to create a nice balanced image, and exposed as well. So there you go. So this should be pretty much how it looked when the photo was taken originally back in the beginning of the 1900s. So I'll close that for now and we are good to go. So now obviously we have the edge. So to do that I've got my my marquee tool, my rectangle marquee tool, and I can just come here and just draw it, or I can come here on rounded rectangle tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use that as a shape, or actually let's go path, and I'm just going to drag like so, something like this. Looks good. And what we've got here is we can see that the edges are very straight, so we want rounded edges. So if we change here to this on the panel properties, in here we have the 10 pixels, so I can actually round off the edges like so, and I'm going to the other ones as well, so like this. If you want to control them individually, just unlink, and this way, as you can see, you can control them individually. So let's bring down to 137. Oh, so there you go. So cool. So I can minimize that, and with the path selected, what I can do is I can come here, right click, and I have make selection. So no feather, I'll click OK. So now we have this selected. I'm going just to add a new blank layer, and at this moment in time we have the photo selected. So what I want to do is I want actually invert selection, because I want to fill everything around. So filter, select, inverse selection, and now what I can do is edit, fill, and I want to fill with white, and there you go. How cool is this? Bear in mind one thing, I'm working non-destructively, but it's always nice to select and save selection. So I'm going to say selection, and I don't need to call nothing, I'll just go like so, and deselect. There we go. So it's looking good already. So what I want to do now is I want to just zoom and start cleaning up this image. So what I want to do first is, because of the edge, this edge here, what I want to do is create a layer beneath this layer 1. So I'm going to hit Control or Command on the Mac and click New Layer icon. This way I have a new layer right beneath the other one. So using the clone stamp tool, current and below, I'm going to bring down my flow to around 30% or 20%, and this way I'm just cloning like so, and as you can see it's retaining the nice edge because the other layer it's right above the area I'm working on. So I'll just go like this, like so, and as you can see it's becoming a very nice clean edge. So let's sample from here and like so, and it's looking good already. So this is the first step to get nice clean edge. Obviously back in the days the edges weren't that clean, so if you don't want to do this, feel free not to do it. At the end of the day it's your option. I just try to emulate the way the photo was taken years ago, and without destroying the image, and if I can add some straight edges I'll do it, and that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So like so, there we go. So it's looking good already, so very cool. Another thing we can do is also, let's focus on the area around the girl. So just like before, what I want to do is I want to select my ellipse tool, and what I want to do is I want just to come here and try to emulate the same circle, so something like so. Cool. And we have this that we can actually, let's minimize the properties panel because it opens automatically, and what I want to do is I want to use this as a selection. So right click on it and make selection, 0% radius, and at this moment in time we have, as before, the girl selected. So I want to invert the selection, so I'll go select, inverse, and I'll just create a new layer above it. And what I want to do is very simple. I want to come here with select my color, and I want to select nice color from the background itself, so from this area. So doing that, I sampled, edit, fill, and under the contents I can go to foreground color. There you go. Very cool. And let's go select, save selection, and OK. And just like before, deselect. So it's getting there. Just like before, we have the edge right here. So because we have the white on top, this background right below, and the clone stamp where we clean the edge still below, we don't need to do anything but select clone stamp. So I'm just going to grab my clone stamp and focus on some nice clean edges. So I'll just go something like so, and it's coming on really nicely, and we have nice clean edge now. So let's go to the other side. And alt click to sample the areas, and now we have a clean edge all around, like so. Probably just here a bit more, There you go. Cool. So what's next? Now it's time to clean up the image. So what I'm going to do is, for time being, I'm going to hide the top layers, create a new blank layer, and I want to select right here the spot healing. And the reason is, the spot healing gives me sample all layers. So if I have the other one selected and I'm working on this area, it messes up what I did before. So let's edit, undo. So this way I'll hide them and still allows me to work in this area. So like so. And I'm just brushing away. Let me just make my brush slightly smaller and just brushing away. And I understand that this is a bit time consuming, but if you want to achieve a nice results, time consuming, it's the least of your worries. There are ways that you can cheat in achieving this, and I'm going to show you how to cheat. And the reason I don't like it much, it's because it softens the image quite a lot. And I'm talking about this in scratches filter. Also, there is the reduce noise. A lot of people use that, and then obviously another way that image stays quite soft, and this way you are minimizing all the scratches in an organic way. But bear in mind, I still can apply the other filters, but I won't need to apply as much because I did most of the cleaning using this. So let me just come here and I'm going to just zoom in, and I'm going to make my brush smaller, and I want just and softer like so, and I want just to clean up some of these areas. What I'm doing here is just small restoration, nothing too fancy, but so you get the idea of what can be done and how it can be done. And even though it's quite dirty there, it's not too bad, this photograph. So actually let's get rid of this. We've got the face, we'll get there in a second, like so. And all I'm doing is just brushing away. I'm using my Wacom tablet. If you don't have one, please go and get yourself one. I use the Wacom tablet Intuos Pro, medium size. It's absolutely amazing, super cool. And but if you can't afford one of those, I had the Bamboo for many years. I worked with the Bamboo for many years. It lasted me long time, and it was an amazing tablet as well. So for around 80 quid you can get cheap one, and does the job really nicely as well. The reason with this one here has a lot more controls, because there's a wheel where you can change tools, control the tools. There's shortcuts that you can apply. If I hold on here on the side, you see my shortcuts, and it's very cool, and it saves a lot of time. So let's see, and it's not too bad now. So let's get this sorted as well. And as you can see, I'm just brushing away, zooming out, touch, get rid of this. Now let's see her face. So her face and the hair as well. So as you can see, just brushing away, Photoshop does most of the work. So I'll just get this sorted right here as well, and brush, stroke. And when you're doing this sort of work, even or just retouching any image, do smaller strokes, because Photoshop is working with you. So it's trying to blend the images, it's trying to blend your strokes with the image itself. This is why content aware is selected right here. So if you go too crazy on brush strokes, so very long brush strokes, it will take Photoshop a bit longer to think and apply what you're after. And look at this, very cool. So all I have to do now is I want to add a new layer right above the layer we were working on. I'm going to edit, fill, and in this case I want to 50% gray. I'll click OK, and I'll change my blending mode to soft light or overlay. If you're doing any dodging and burning that you want a bit more contrast, overlay is the right choice. For portraits I use soft light because it's a bit more subtle. And I'm going to select my dodge tool. So the dodge tool, I'm going quite low, so I'll go for 5%. I'm going to zoom in, and what I want is, I want just to enhance just a touch these areas. A cool trick, a cool shortcut, it's not trick, it's a shortcut, is as I have the dodge tool selected, if I hold the Alt, it will actually burn. So as you can see, I can just burn without changing the tool. So I'm just burning. I'm just going to make my brush a bit smaller, like so. So I can just burn like so, just to enhance dodge, like this, just to enhance the creases, and like so. And in here, just a touch as well. I'm just burning a bit, as you may notice. Let's see before and after. Okay, my computer just froze. Okie dokie. Nice. Come on. What's the matter? What's the matter? It just froze. Oh boy. It wants to do something. There you go. It's going again. So I'm just enhancing just a touch, as you can see. And froze again. Let's see. If I change tools, if it goes back to normal. Come on. But as you can see, it may take a bit of time, but the results are amazing. And obviously, the more complicated the image, the more you want to spend retouching the image or restoring the image. So let me just see if computer comes back to normal. And there you go. We are back in business. I don't know what happened with my computer. I think it's clashing with my tablet because I've got it on top. Let's see. Okay, so let's go. Select this one, and select this one here. So we are good to go. So as you can see, it's looking rather good. So all I have to do now is, so before and after, and as you can see, added a bit nice detail in here on the bottom part of the photo. So what I want to do now is, I want once again hide the top layers, and I want to create a merged version of all of these layers visible. So Command Shift Alt E, and now we have a merged version where you can go to Filter, Noise, and Dust and Scratches. And what I'm trying to do is, I just want to reduce slightly the scratches. But if I go too far, as you can see, it becomes very soft. But because I did most of the cleaning before, so I don't need to go that crazy. So I'll just go 1 pixel, probably. Let's see before and after. And threshold, I'll just go to 10. Let's see, 2 and 10. So very subtle. Does the job. Click OK, and now I'll just reveal all the other layers. Actually, I'm going to do something else. I want just to blend in these areas a bit more. So I'm going to select right here under my brush. I've got Mixer Brush tool, and I want Mix Flow at quite low, 5, Mix 90, low 75. That's pretty good. And I want a decent size brush, nice and soft. What I want to do is just brush in here, just soften slightly and create a nice transition in there. Nothing was happening because sample of layers wasn't ticked on. So something like so, and it looks very, very cool. And there you go. Here we are. Now let's just go Command 0 so we can visualize the entire image. And if you think the layer 3 is too fake, which is background, you can just drop the opacity a touch, just to add a bit more character and more realistic. So select top layer, create a merged version, filter, camera raw filter, and let's sharpen this image. I'm going to hold Alt while masking, sharpen the image, reduce noise, come here, bring down the highlights a touch so we have a bit more detail in this area, add some more contrast. I love my clarity, so probably a bit too much, so something like so, and click OK. And as you can see, in just a few minutes, from this to this, from this to this. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Feel free to share with your friends, family, and even to people you don't know. Make sure you subscribe, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.